Switching, we're live. We technically switched from not live to live, so that ties into
I
this
I
speaking of
see
switching.
what you did there. Well, actually, I don't see what you did there because
Wait,
you're
no,
not
we
sharing screen,
heard
but I hear what you did there.
Yes. So today I did the same title scheme as last month. We're reacting, blind react. I haven't seen it. Kamui has to Burrito to blue vertex.
Yes, use the title. Let's go.
Yes. Okay. So we have actually we're just gonna cut to the chase, get to the real meat and enchilada of it. I think I'm combining two different phrases by saying that, but
You
so
are definitely combining a lot. It's meat and potatoes, but
and enchiladas are the real one, I think. I don't know. Anyways.
I don't know what the enchilada saying is, but it's not this one.
Well, I'm definitely a hot tamale. But anyway, okay. So if we go, I'll share my screen. If we go to Boruto topics, um, so okay, a couple different things to go over first. Is there anything up here that you wanted to? Okay, we'll save that. Okay, yeah, okay. We'll just do the interview first. Very, very, very first
Yeah.
thing. Okay, so as you all
Um,
know, an interview came out between Ikimoto a couple days ago, and me and Kami wanted to stream this just the other day, but last night actually. But we've been binging Final Destination, so maybe we could do like a Final Destination like ranking or something. It's like that could be a cool tier list. If not the movies, then like the people
we could do a
unalive
bunch of things.
things,
We could do the deaths, the
the
characters, the
characters. Yeah.
movies, so on.
The top rank isn't going to be S
So
rank. It's
where
just going to
is
be
the
Billy rank.
oh, I have an intro topics, not Boruto topics.
Yeah, no, I got it right
The
here.
interview.
Oh no,
No,
actually, I
there's
don't have
also
to.
two different posts I did. One's the Twitter post, one is images. I don't know if it has all the same number of questions. I just posted them just in case.
Okay. Where did you put
So there
it?
might be more in one than the other. I don't know.
Where did you put it?
In intro topics,
Intro
it's
topics.
a
Okay, that
little bit
makes
above
sense.
the spoiler text thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of things here, aren't there? Okay, so first question. Tell us why
So
Boruto.
you
Yeah.
use
Oh.
the Twitter one. I'll check the images one and just confirm if it's all the same.
Okay. Well, I'm just using the one here on Discord, but yes.
Well, what I meant is there's a Twitter post.
I mean, you can see the one I'm using, right?
No, because I'm on the treadmill. I don't know which one you're using. Are you using the posted images or the Twitter link
I
one?
was using the posted images, but I'll use at least the Twitter link for this first one. So, question number
All
one.
right, then I'll look at the Twitter link.
I'm already on Twitter link too late. Tell us why
Oh my
Boruto
god.
changed the way he called Sasuke. So, Kamui, why do you think Boruto changed the way he called Sasuke?
Well, after he helped him escape Konoha, Boruto felt that Sasuke was really his master. So, just cutting myself off, he didn't think Sasuke was really his master until then. So it
Yeah.
almost feels like Boruto was under omnipotence.
Yeah,
The way
like, are
that's
we
phrased.
forgetting the entirety of the first half of Boruto? Like, I know Ikimoto wants to pretend the Naruto series doesn't exist, but is he going to pretend Boruto, Naruto Next Generations doesn't exist anymore either?
Yeah, I mean, I think Koji's retcon makes that clear. Anything written by Kodachi doesn't exist.
I guess so, yeah. But even then,
Also, and then he was his pupil. Yeah, so Boruto didn't realize he was Sasuke's pupil until chapter 80. Just had no idea.
yeah, we'll just ignore every conversation where he calls Sasuke master, especially the pre-Ishiki fight conversation where he tells him he's convicted to die and that Sasuke as his master is gonna kill him for if he turns into Borushiki.
Or like
Whatever.
when he spent the whole Momoshiki arc trying to get Sasuke to be his master.
And then Sasuke becomes his master.
And he only continues to train him.
Oh, crazy. So, and then also the fact that Sarada complains that Boruto is taken up all the time with Sasuke. And Sarada's watching Boruto train. But whatever.
I do wonder if Boruto, I know he tends to say old man Sasuke, early on, but like I wouldn't be surprised if at least once in the all part one he says master at some point.
Bro, there's like
I feel like he
100%
probably does it
guarantee.
at least once.
Like, you shouldn't be questioning if he says it once. You should be questioning it if he says it less times than the number of fingers and toes you have.
Well, all we need is at least one example. If you can find it, that's. Oh, you know what?
You probably
I'm
could
gonna go look
easily right now. And while you do that, I'll say the rest of this answer, in my own words, and Kamui's doing his own words previously, he started to call him Shisho, master, the next day. As opposed to the current day, like the same day that Sasuke saves him. It wasn't until the next day until it really clicked in. But Sasuke was reluctant at first. Okay. But he was indeed Boruto's master, so he gradually accepted it. Man, remember when omnipotence was described to also be a gradual acceptance, but in the opposite direction?
So, Boruto had to gradually accept that Sasuke was his master. So, like with Sasuke trying to convince him that he was his master, not the other way around.
So let's also remember that he tells he tells Boruto that Sarada awakened his EMS. Mangekyo showing, I'm really all over the place tonight. I'm popping off. And because of that, what she says has to be true. And so Boruto is Boruto. So because of that, ignoring the fact that Sasuke just thought it wasn't Boruto, so we're just having this be a separate side thing, to where this is like separate from omnipotence. Like Sasuke, let's just say omnipotence never happened. So Sasuke just feels this way and is just uncomfortable being Boruto's master. Just in general.
It seems like it's the other way around. Like Boruto's he just wasn't comfortable with Sasuke being his master until then.
Okay. I thought this was one of the more tame questions, but then again, I haven't actually looked at all the questions, so it's gonna be a good.
Yeah, I didn't really pay that much attention to this one. I just kind of read the gist of the meaning and not the specifics.
Yeah, so that one and the Himawari one, which we already covered on stream, are the ones that we've seen. I haven't seen any of the other ones, so I got question number 2 pulled up here, and it's freaking Daemon related. So here we go. Okay. I also have, because I was listening to Sauron in chat the other day, as you know, since I added you, VC anyways. He was explaining a couple different things about the interview, but again, I was like going into it without spoilers, so I haven't heard much, but I did post something for when we get to it, specifically the Himawari one. But question 2. Eida and Daemon have cosmic/space motif accessories on them. Why? So I don't know, by the way, I don't know who was asking these questions, but shout out this absolute legend.
I found one. Hold on. Okay, I just need to find one. Like I said, I found one.
That was quick. How's that doing me?
Yeah, I was just kind of checking different scenes. It wasn't in the Ishiki resolve to die one, but I found it after the code arc, or in the middle of the code arc, I should say.
I feel like the earlier the better, but we'll just ignore that for now. But even then, actually, this is better because this is Ikimoto wrote this.
Exactly.
So
just gonna post the image.
Yeah, you might as well post it.
Or actually, let me add some text.
Were you posting
Ikimoto
it?
forgot.
Yeah, put that in mistakes.
And then let's also. Yep.
I love it. It's insane.
So I also need
that he forgot this. But whatever. Just
he's making a point about it in the interview too.
It's just the character dynamic between the main character and basically the Yoda of Star Wars, of the story. Whatever. But yeah, so I again, shout out whoever was asking these questions, because this legend was just asking them the most blunt, direct way possible, and questions that are actually hard-hitting, that we actually care about.
Yeah, I know. I have to say,
it's like story-related.
Some of the questions probably should be in the story more so than they are. But
they aren't, which is why this is a godsend.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed pretty much all the questions that were asked and the answers. Like, I was glad to get the who's writing Boruto questions just confirmed class interview. But like this is, and I saw some people in my Discord kind of like that some people wanted like different questions to be asked, like where's Amado from, Jogon, blah blah blah. But I'm like, some things they're just not going to answer. Or who is Kawaki's mom? Some of these things, it's like probably more likely that will be in the story. Yeah. He's not just going to reveal that. He would just say it's a secret, and then at that point,
from what I've seen, though, he's not doing that. And so I think that's really cool that he's actually giving direct answers to these questions. Just the honest,
yeah, because some of these questions
are good.
Arguably could have been revelations from what I've seen. Yeah. So the fact that he didn't answer was like
this cosmic space one with Eida and Daemon. But yeah, I completely agree.
This one I wouldn't say needs to be explained in the story. It's just
okay, but I haven't read the answer yet. If the answer is because they're Otsutsukis from the moon and they're actually Himawari's parents, that doesn't make sense. But you could
I see what you're saying. Okay, so I didn't know the answer to this one.
Okay.
Speaking of which, he says, I wanted them to stand out from usual Boruto/Naruto characters. And since they are two characters with extraordinary abilities, I thought a cosmic output or a cosmic motif would suit their design.
Okay. That is indeed what mine said word for word as well. So I'm going to guess it's just the exact same between these two.
Yeah, I think so. But the Twitter one looks cooler with the images, so that's definitely the one to show on stream.
Yeah, completely agree. So
we'll just alternate question and answer. So I'll ask the question, you'll answer this time.
Okay.
So, Oodie, was the power Daemon felt from Himawari actually Kurama's?
Oh god, here we go, bro. I saw the first 3 words of this earlier, and I was losing my mind because we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this. I'm just letting you know now. So answer. Daemon actually felt the future synergy potential of Himawari, who is of Uzumaki and Hyuga bloodline, and Kurama's chakra.
So, this kind of confirms one of Kurama's theories, which is the bloodline thing that he mentioned, whatever you said word for word, because he's specifically pointing that out. And then it's the merging of that with Kurama.
Well, I do want to add before Mr. Cocky Kamui comes out. It's like, I told you. So what he's saying here is what we already knew with the Uzumakis. They have had a history of having good synergy with Kurama. We just didn't know that about the Hyuga. So he's commenting on that aspect.
Well, not necessarily just that. It could be specifically the Hyuga Uzumaki mixed together, that synergy with Kurama's, which is slightly different.
Well, no,
obviously
he's saying the future synergy potential of Himawari and Kurama, but he's having an indentation bracket of Himawari is of Uzumaki and Hyuga bloodline.
Yeah, but Himawari is of. So what I'm saying is, obviously, this more or less means Uzumaki Kurama good synergy. Hyuga Kurama good synergy, but Hyuga and Uzumaki mixed together has great synergy with Kurama, essentially.
Okay. I guess it's fine. I guess, but that's fine. Okay, so.
But again, though,
so Kamui, why is it a problem, or even not a problem, depending if we're Daemon fans or not, which we are, that Daemon can feel future potential?
Well, okay, so now there's... well, real quick, before we open up that can of worms, I still have the problem of, okay, well, Hagoromo is of more Hyuga and more Uzumaki than Himawari.
No, he's not. He's from Otsutsuki, not Uzumaki and Hyuga.
He's literally the progenitor of both, basically. I guess Hamura is technically the Hyuga, but
Ikimoto forgot.
Equally Hyuga's Hamura. And then... he's literally one who made Kurama the Tento Shinju. How does he not have more synergy? So was Hagoromo just God after all? Actually, just Shibai?
But if we go back to the chapter, what Daemon is saying isn't about potential. It's about an inner strength.
Intensity in that moment.
Yes, exactly. He wants to fight Himawari now and is confused why now she isn't able to do anything.
Well, maybe Daemon sensed the future potential, but didn't realize it was future potential. But that doesn't make much sense.
But it's from the future. What? How does he do that?
Because his ability really does look into the future. After all.
Like, is it mixed with pin directions? What is his reflection? Is it reflecting from the future? Is it time warping? Is it freaking Sarada's ability, basically? Is it Madara's Mangekyo Sharingan ability?
Yeah, what is his ability? Because it might not be literally his dojutsu ability, but it seems to be like an ability of his to like sense power things.
Yeah.
He's doing it with Uzushiko somewhat, doing it with Himawari. Like, he seems to have some. I don't want to compare it to Hisoka, because Hisoka's kind of different. Because Hisoka's not literally sensing things. He just like intuitively knows future potential. But it's kind of similar to that.
I mean, we know
but
that,
like more literal.
We know Daemon was able to sense the Uzuhiko. But
exactly.
he did it more so like in the present moment than the
exactly, not the future moment. and he never sensed future Boruto being anything he cares about.
Yeah, so let's also just reiterate. He's not sensing the power. He's sensing the synergy.
The future synergy.
Yeah, so like, why wasn't Daemon freaking out when Team 10 was doing perfect teamwork against Jura? That made Jura freak out. What happened to that synergy?
I guess it just wasn't that synergistic. But my next question is, okay, was he sensing basically TBV Chapter 11 Himawari level of synergy, the one that fights Jura? Or is he sensing, I don't know, Chapter 60 Himawari, some future level we haven't seen yet? Because to answer that question,
it has to be.
It gives us two different things to think about. Because if it's Chapter 11 Himawari, well, that's the one he's really interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So, was that Himawari stronger than current Boruto? Was he stronger than Jura? He doesn't even send Jura.
I mean,
or is he sensing a future Himawari that just is beyond Jura?
Well, because she only used freaking KCM 0 or KCM 1, or not KCM, it was the QB Chakra
KN0
without the tail. It was, the red eyes, really, is what it was. But a little bit of
it might have been Barry on those red eyes. Who knows what this was?
Okay, but at this point, I just don't think so. At the very least, Baryon mode looked smoother, okay? Which reminds me of KCM, like Naruto KCM 1, KCM 2. And
I know.
Because she wasn't using that, she was using a lesser form, like any other Jinchuriki, it tells me her synergy wasn't on the level of War Arc Naruto's. And we saw, Kurama was dead at the time. I don't care. Daemon was face-to-face with Naruto, who at least was using perfect Sage Mode. He wasn't freaking about Naruto's synergy with Sage Mode.
So, was that essentially... This is going to sound ridiculous, but taking every statement at face value, this would imply that quantity-wise, Naruto had more synergy, like he could use the higher forms, but quality-wise, ounce per ounce of chakra, Himawari has insane exponential synergy to where just a teeny bit of Kurama's chakra just explodes in magnitude randomly, just exponentially to the 200th degree. Multiplies through. I
mean, I don't even know if that's true based on how KCM works. At least KCM 1, it was like the tug of war timer thing to where it runs out and it's the form is either on or off. You can't have like a KCM 0.5 to where he's like halfway using it. KCM 2 is a little bit different since Kurama's just giving him everything. But at that point, it's almost like a perfect synergy. I know we see in the War Arc.
Exactly.
When he's like hand slapping the freaking Alliance, giving them all the chakra. I know Six loves pointing out this manga panel. We see the panel of like Naruto's connection to the Nine Tails, and then he's connecting to all the other people, the fodder in the War Arc that he's giving the chakra to. And it's like a puzzle piece that fits in pretty well at like 90% of the spots, but like 10% of them.
Let's just ignore that for a moment. Ignoring that for a moment, I feel like this whole concept just ignores what Bijou Sage Mode is. The point was Sage Mode, that's like Naruto used to be Naruto. Kurama, anything, was like Naruto just using Kurama. Bijou Sage Mode was about the merging of the two powers coming together. That's like the point. Like, that's them being synergized.
Yeah. Like, Daemon thought absolutely nothing of Code's synergy with his white karma.
And also, if Himawari, so like, but the problem is, see, there has to be some. So I'm already kind of. Himawari just has to have some nonsensical synergy exponential boost because it's like she pushed Jura more than TBB Kawaki, which I know we like to clown on him, but like he is very strong. Okay. Naruto's KN0 form isn't that much of an okay. Might beat Haku, but it's not beating TBB Karma like Kawaki.
I mean, I still think that Karma 1 wasn't a true Karma 1, and that he wasn't really going full power there. He was still amping up. So he beat him before Kawaki got to any real level of power, in my opinion. But that doesn't matter for this.
All right, well, he never does anything in TBV, so we're going to go with what we see.
Okay. Now, what I will say, what I'm most disappointed with here is the fact that this just confirms that Himawari doesn't have a secondary other thing that Daemon felt. It just was the Nine Tails, which is not what we wanted.
Nine Tails / her bloodline.
But at the same time, I'll accept the compromise. It's like a swip swap to where we're losing this for Himawari, but we're potentially gaining some other new ability of Daemon of like future sensing. I'm just gonna take it at face value for now.
I mean, you could argue that the Hyuga Uzumaki bloodline thing on its own will lead to something, but the main thing is the merging of the two. That's the part that actually matters.
Yeah. Weird.
But anyway, next question's kind of a silly one.
So the next question, let me pull it up here. Question number 4. What is written in the book Jura always reads? I saw the first couple words of this one too, so I thought this was ridiculous of the little bit that I've seen.
This one's funny though. I laughed. So it's actually Jura's personal notebook. It contains various informations, daily discoveries, things that he is curious about. It's an important tool for him to keep track of the growing mass of info he learns on a daily basis. There's Lily Gross diary.
So, was it you? Who was the one that said maybe the trees makes the book for Jura? I think it was you telling Mello this, that it could be the trees.
No, it was Mello's theory, and I said it was cool.
Okay. So, first, I'm very confused on this because a couple things.
Well, first that begs a question. So the first books that were in his lair before he went to the bookstore on screen, did he just write 50 books of notes?
But the problem is that doesn't make sense because he's reading those books to learn new information that he doesn't already have.
Exactly. Well, I guess he's rereading what he learned. He rereads his diary after he's done writing it.
But my big problem with this is, as we see, he's not just reading one book. He's reading 1,000.
I know. So
literally,
how many notes is he writing? Is he like Yagami writing Lindell Taylor on the page for every page? Is that how he writes his notes?
I'm assuming Ikimoto has to be referring to the latest 2 or 3 chapters whenever we see Jura reading. Because otherwise it just doesn't make sense. Book.
Yeah. It says the book he always reads. So I think what he's saying is the primary one that he usually draws is his notebook, whereas the other ones are when he's actually reading.
Yeah, I agree. Because otherwise, why would he even go to the bookstore in Konoha to buy books?
Yeah, he's definitely reading other books too.
Yeah. But personal notebook, it's crazy to me that he would do that. As a okay. The divine tree, Kaguya's divine tree, Shibai's divine tree, Ishiki's divine tree, whatever you want to call it, Momoshiki's divine tree, they just record information. Unconsciously, on their own. They just absorb it somehow.
Yeah, I feel like Jura should just automatically memorize it without needing to try hard.
Is Jura Ikimoto? Does he just have a bad memory? He just forgets?
I mean, he went to the book to confirm who Shikanai was, so maybe he does.
Yeah, no, maybe that's the reason he forgot that Inojin actually lived. It's because he didn't write that in his journal. He was referencing it.
Okay, that's the best answer. Whenever Jura's wrong about something, or like yeah, so when Jura said that like the divine tree stay true to their instincts, he just forgot what he said in chapter 4. Jura himself forgot. That's the answer to explain all of Jura's contradictions. He just forgot.
So, by the way, I just want to point out that Jura's personal notebook contains various informations,
Plural.
as opposed to information. I just want to say, shout out YouTubers who cover scams. A lot of, let's just say, people in the East like to use words such as informations.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, Roger.
I know exactly what you're talking about. They also like to say, hello, sir.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. We both know.
They also like their italics.
Oh, the next one is Momoshiki related? Okay.
Yes, okay, so I'll ask the question you read.
Mhm.
During his talk with Amado, Boruto sees a glimpse of the future. Is it related to Koji's ability, the 10 directions/Frisians?
Glimpse of the future.
That's the question.
During his talk with Amado? So, do they mean in Naruto Next Generations?
Yeah, they mean chapter 75. It's not really related to Amado, it just happens to happen during Amado's interrogation. End of chapter 75, the future premonition.
Okay.
With Bitsuki Sage Mode and all that.
I would
No,
not
the one that
say
makes no sense.
that's weird to word it as during his talk with Amado, but I guess it can work. I mean,
I agree.
Boruto wasn't talking with Amado, but whatever.
Exactly. He was just
That
listening
really threw me off.
through the intercom.
Exactly. Wasn't even there. But it's one of Momoshiki's personal abilities. Okay, I'm glad they're at least confirming that. They're not saying 10 directions yet, but they're not just saying, oh, his thought that he just was thinking, or his consciousness, or his soul, or his sensory
But don't
abilities,
worry,
or anything.
we're going to get into a discussion with this one.
Okay. So one of Momoshiki's personal abilities, it allows him to see bits and fragments of the future. Okay, I know exactly why we're going to have a conversation.
Oh, no, we're not done yet. But let's just stop there for now. Have the
Sure.
first discussion.
Okay.
So, this is just a retcon.
I agree.
Because, first of all, Momoshiki said he could see more of his future. Clearly. Fragments are not that. Second, he specifically tells Boruto, now you can justify this, and I will do it.
I know how.
It's not a good way to. So, he tells Boruto, even if in fragments, it appears you saw the same pattern that I saw. So, real quick, to give it.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
It's possible that he's saying that his top blow is in fragments too, but it's a weird way to word it.
So he's saying that Boruto saw the exact same thing that I saw, but then why even say the fragment part?
Exactly. What he's saying much more directly implies, so I'll say 80-20% if you want, but it's more so implying you saw fragments. But it's the same, you saw the same idea as me, but you saw the fragmented version. Plus I saw the full version. That's what he's implying. And based on
what Momoshiki saw, it doesn't make sense that Momoshiki would even think that Boruto would despair. Like, Momoshiki didn't even know Omnipotence was going to be cast based on those fragments.
Well, exactly, because, for example, Boruto didn't see jump up on that tree branch when Momoshiki instructed him. Momoshiki didn't see Eida flying. Boruto didn't see Eida in the sky casting Omnipotence. Momoshiki wouldn't even know what the fuck happened if he didn't see everything clearly. So
Momoshiki has to be able to see more than what Boruto did, to be fair. So I guess the bits and fragments can still apply, but
then it's like so many fragments that it might as well not be fragments.
Exactly, and like, could he hypothetically use the ability again to get different fragments of the future from like the same point in time? So he just sees the full future if you put 2 and 2 together.
But I'm like, bro, his future vision's not seeing specifically the fragment of jump up onto the tree branch. Like,
I know.
That's only there if you see it fluidly. I feel like Ikimoto just forgot what he wrote in chapter 35.
So trash, bro. Why would he do that?
But wait, there's more if you continue.
Ooh, it may seem similar to Koji's ability in some ways, but unlike Prescience, it's not a Shinjutsu. Should we stop there or should I keep going?
just keep going because the rest is
and considered inferior in terms of performance.
So obviously, it makes sense that he's inferior because he really saw like One Direction, not 500. But like, so two things. One is I'm going to justify something, then debunk it to get into the main point. It's possible that Momoshiki's thing isn't a jutsu the same way that like quote unquote shuriken jutsu are really jutsu. They're just techniques. Momoshiki's thing could just be a thing, not a jutsu, so it just wouldn't apply to Shinjutsu and whatnot. The problem, though, is that, well, that should apply to Koji's 10 Directions, which is pretty much the same thing. Why would that be a jutsu versus the other one? So that makes sense. More importantly, well, okay, for one thing, that's confirmed. Not all Otsutsuki techniques are Shinjutsu.
Yeah, which
that
I don't
doesn't
like.
really make sense with Chapter 75. But ignoring that for a moment,
that was my big thing.
Roaring thunderbolts more divine than seeing the future? How is shrinking yourself more of a divine miracle than seeing the future?
Or freaking claw marks.
More divine than see. This is arguably the second most divine miracle. How is this not a Shinjutsu?
Like, flight is the most basic Otsutsuki ability, and isn't that considered Shinjutsu, or is that not?
It's never directly stated.
Okay.
It was just one of those things where you listen to Amado's talk, and it implies that all Otsutsuki techniques are Shinjutsu.
Yeah.
But I'll go back and find the line.
Like, he's not even using hand signs. He's just looking.
Exactly.
Freaking pausing time, even. Occasionally doing it with this Byakugan, but...
But, you know, generating storms with a wave of his hand. That's so divine.
Even though that requires a wave of the hand, apparently. It's basically a hand sign.
Seeing the future? God forbid. That's not a godlike ability. Now, it says, Ninjutsu attempts to reproduce phenomena similar to Shinjutsu through weaving silent concentrating one's chakra. So, you could say that, obviously, Momoshiki's ability would be like an inferior attempt to recreate 10 directions, but I'm almost making it seem like this is the ninja thing that they do. Momoshiki's not doing hand sign and shit. Like,
oh, no.
There are also Sarah's response is also implying ninja means ninjutsu. Like, Amino doesn't say, oh, Asusuki do it too, Sarada, don't worry. It's just, oh, did I ever you the ninja?
So, do we think this means that, how does Momoshiki's future sight work? Because of 10 Directions, we know how the Naruto universe works, to where choices means you have split paths, to where you have multiple different possible timelines. Does Momoshiki's not see the other timelines, and Momoshiki only sees the one timeline? Or does Momoshiki's just see one random timeline of all of the possibilities?
So, I think the three options are one random one, probably not likely though, because then he wouldn't be counting on it so much, because he probably would have been wrong at some point.
I agree.
Option number two is the way you worded it, the timeline, which is the way things are supposed to go.
Yeah.
Anything that changes with a change. Option three is technically the same thing, but worded better for the universe, which would be he sees the single most likely timeline. So, like, let's just say 9 times out of 10, that's the one that happens.
Yeah.
Momoshiki just got unlucky where, for the first time, he got the 1 out of 10 where it went wrong.
Because my question is...
Whereas Koji sees all the possibilities,
yeah,
which allows him to be better prepared for things.
Exactly. Do we think Momoshiki saw Boruto despair? Did he look at that?
I don't see that. That's why I don't like the prophecy, because there's a lot of issues with it, as we've discussed.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Like, he acts like he saw it. No, it's possible he just assumed, but I don't know why he would assume. He had to have seen it. But then I have to ask, why did Boruto despair? It's not like I don't like things just had to happen the way they should have happened in our rewrite version for this to work.
It definitely wasn't because of those blue eyes of yours.
Oh, right, exactly.
But
but I mean, there's still the problem of Momoshiki is intimately aware of all Shinjutsu. So this is the issue: is that he can. So saving grace would have to be option 3. He sees the most likely future, so even though he knows there are other possibilities, he just seriously expected it to be his, because his shows him the one that almost always happens. But he should have been better prepared for the possibility. He knows about 10 directions. That's my problem, but the saving grace is his ability is the most likely one.
It's just weird, but whatever. I mean, I'm glad that they confirmed it is a personal ability of Momoshiki's. I just don't like that it's not a Shinjutsu and that he can only see fragments. So
it should just be like, for example, you have a Shinjutsu. In 10 directions is a Shinjutsu of Shinjutsu kind of thing. Yeah. It should just be a Boruto. Like, it should be like how Eida's ability, all the Shibai Shinjutsu are more godly than Suguna Higona, for example, Ishiki's. Probably should be like an Ishiki one. It's just not as good as the Shibai ones, but it's good.
I kind of wish that he named Momoshiki's ability here, but that's okay.
That too. Call it the One Direction, I don't care. Anyway, we've already discussed this one, so we can skip it. Where does Himawari live?
Well, no, actually, okay, I hate to say it. We have a lot to say on this. We've already covered it, but we arguably have the most to say on this in comparison to every other question that we haven't even covered yet. So yes, where and how does Himawari live after part 1? And then at her own request, she lives alone in her family's home. She feels that they will somehow return and wants to protect their home until they return. I've seen a couple different translations. Wants to protect their home. She does the Uzumaki household chores. She keeps it neat and tidy for her parents' return. That's my personal favorite, but protect their home until they return. I haven't even seen this one yet. There's a ton of different translations for this one. So, okay, does Ikimoto ever officially confirm anything else on this, or was that the only, like, Himawari thing?
That I recall, this is the only thing on this.
Okay, so I'm going to text Sauron to get his butt in here, because he's the one that has the most to say on this. But for now, where I'm going to redirect us is by going to Boruto Topics and pulling up, ironically, another tweet. So you're going to lose your mind because this is the most ridiculous thing you're going to have ever seen. So I am still sharing my screen. Yes, okay. So
just tell me where to go. It's still in the
So Boruto Topics, yesterday, 8:56 p.m. Majin Lu is the tweet. So let me know when you get there.
Okay, here.
Okay, so Majin Lu, this is an artist, go figure. But, sorry, that's just my hatred of artists coming out. Anyways, so she says, in reference to this Boruto Himawari question-answer thing, she says, or reacts by saying, "This is ridiculous in so many ways! You made Himawari to seem younger, like she needed Hinata to watch her over 24/7. She didn't. To suddenly make her a grown-up who lives alone when she has a grandparent and an aunt, a whole clan?" Okay, never mind. I don't think it was Majin Lu who I was hating. It was someone else. But this is why I need Sauron here. Because it sounds like she agrees with us.
Yeah, I think it's probably just a reply comment stating, just keep going.
All that so she doesn't train her Jukin. I don't know what Jukin is, by the way.
Gentle fist.
Okay.
I assume that's what that means.
Yeah. It was something to be shown in the source material itself, not in a Q&A. I guess showing Eida's couch is way more important? Push mark.
Oh, I love this person already. We're getting Maj Jean Lu on the podcast.
Absolutely.
You want to leave a reply?
Do you know what I do wish to know in a Q&A? Her birthday. Since there was a plot resolving around her cake, I think knowing the date is pretty fair. That is pretty fair. The way I like that, yeah. Might as well. That would be a Q&A type of thing to reveal anyways, if not then a data book or something, but... And now we have...
I mean, I agree.
Exactly. So here's where it really starts mattering. Now we have people blaming characters like Hiyashi, Hanabi, and even Kawaki, who is mandated to live with Eida. When, in the end, it is about their allergy to any Hyuga slash Byakugan stuff. There in reference to Ikimoto, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think so.
Himawari is Jura's target. Is she still living alone? When she has a whole clan to protect her. And then, what's the next Q&A about? Why doesn't Hima use her Byakugan? And the answer, it's because she doesn't train with the Hyugas enough, so she doesn't develop it. / sarcasm. Love that.
I want this person on the podcast.
She's so good, bro.
Probably vibing him pretty good.
Yeah. So then someone else called Do, whatever that means, says, right now people are going to hate on Hanabi because she didn't take care of her sister's daughter. All the sudden change isn't random. She was dependent on her parents, like you said, but she lost them on a random day. That shock could have the trigger for her decision. And Majin Lu says, Hanabi is getting hated, indeed. Lunatech says, so basically they gave her the Naruto treatment when he was alone as a child. She has family, I don't get it. Also, if she lose, where the hell does Kawaki live? Yeah, that's with Eida, as we know. Boruto.
Real
Oregon.
quick,
Yeah.
you don't seem to see this one. So one from Araya says, Ikimoto didn't do that. The anime team did. The same way Naruto had a godfather, his father's student, yet he was allowed to live alone. So, two things. He's just wrong through and through. The comparison with, well, first of all, it'd be his father's master, but the comparison with Jiraiya just isn't the same because Jiraiya never previously lived with or interacted with Naruto. He just was outside the village looking for Orochimaru. Now you can say shame on Jiraiya, but like he actively was doing something else and had never met Naruto, period. It's not like a family member who lives next door and then just disappears randomly. Like it's not the same comparison. Second, what do you mean Ikimoto didn't do that? The anime team did. The anime team didn't do that. The anime team has only depicted them as being close with Himawari. Like, what? All the things that Majin Lu's referencing is in the manga, not the anime.
Exactly. Oh, we got Swifty in here at the very least. Swifty, speak! And while we're waiting for Swifty, I wonder what Swifty has to say. Empathy. Bruh. Okay,
Well,
anyway.
I guess back to the Q&A.
Hopefully Sauron gets on soon, but at the very least, Hay Station should be getting on soon. Let me just check this out.
Wait, Hay Station's coming on?
Yeah, I know, right? Hay Station says, alright, just got home after my shift later than usual. I'm getting ready to play a Left 4 Dead 2 match with a buddy of mine. Hopefully I should be able to join, depending on the duration of the pod. Man, I feel bad, considering I took Kamui away from Among Us, but... And that's Swifty's favorite thing. Ah, see, it all comes full circle. All right, Swifty, we need you. But anyways, so we'll probably skip this this Himawari thing for now and come back to it when Sauron gets here to say whatever the actual thing is that I'm trying to reference. I could say it, but I feel like I'd rather just read the tweet since it's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard.
That's fine. I walked away from my stuff, so I'll just need you to read the questions and answers for a minute.
Yeah, that's
while I heat up food and stuff.
Okay. So the next question, question 7, about Kawaki. Ooh, okay. What's Kawaki's favorite taiyaki flavor? I can't even be mad at the question. That's a funny question. I like that question. I'm glad he asked it. At first, he liked the chocolate taiyaki the best. But it didn't take long for him to settle down with bean paste flavor. Is that what we see in the anime and manga?
So, in the anime, in the manga, he only eats chocolate as far as I'm aware. Okay. I don't think we ever see it with the bean one. Maybe in the anime. But here's my funny theory. So the chocolate one, Konachi writing. So Ikimoto's retconning it.
Down. I love that. 100%. I wonder if he even eats taiyaki anymore, like in the time skip, or is he like punishing himself by not letting him have his favorite food?
Oh, both are good.
I know.
I just want it to be addressed in the story, even though it never will.
100%. Invincible says, I think both sides make some unfair arguments, but for now, I think Himawari living alone is kinda fair. I mean, she literally asked for it, so yeah. Okay, so what I'm complaining about isn't the Himawari part, it's about the other Hyugas, and specifically Ikimoto's fault. It's not like Hanabi and Hyuga don't visit her regularly. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and prove that? That's what a debater would like to say.
Well, we only see evidence to the contrary. If they visit her so much, why didn't they follow Shikamaru's order to support Himawari and Team 10? Why was there 0 panels of them rushing there?
Yeah, you know why? They were probably at the Uzumaki household, which is why it took them so long to get there. I don't know, to make it up.
But like, my thing is, I have no problems with the answer or the question. It's that the story isn't.
I have a problem with the story.
Exactly. Like if this was in the manga and they showed the Hyuga in any capacity, there you go. All's well ends well. But they didn't do that. They just don't write them. So why are you even mentioning this? Yeah, so I was thinking, this is his excuse for not writing them. Oh yeah, she just doesn't want to do them.
That's what it feels like. It's not even her decision. It's more of just Ikimoto doesn't want to deal with the Hyuga, and that was his way of conveniently getting around it more than Himawari.
But even then, he's not even writing him out of the story. He's writing him out of the interview. It's like...
Well, that's the problem. They're literally written out of the verse. That is the thing that Saren's going to bring up when we get to it. What I will say, the one thing that I really like about the decision is Himawari now parallels Kid Naruto, who also lived alone. Also Sasuke. Actually, it's more of a parallel to Sasuke, who had a family and then didn't.
Yeah, if only they were going to actually do something with that. Oh, that's what my dad would do. That wasn't good in that scene. You know, if you can't tell... I don't like Himawari and Sara and Tubi Vortex. I only like those hard ones.
Okay. There we go. Okay. So the next question is about the Shinju. Oh, play the Shinju Divine theme.
This is the most big one. The one that I said. I think I told you vaguely the other day.
Oh my god.
It confirms some things I've said, not directly, but indirectly. And it's a pretty interesting talking point.
Yes.
Which this should be in the story. But it doesn't have to be directly in the story. What it needs to be is something that you as a viewer can definitely observe and know, and not just theorize. Yeah. So granted, he's telling us, so now it's no longer a theory, it would just be a fact. But I do think the story, if you never see this interview, you should know this answer, because I think it is very important that the story tells you this, even if it's only through observation. You should know the answer to this question. So I'll ask the question, I'll let you read the answer.
Okay.
How do Shinjus get personalities? For example, Ryu's personality is nothing like Shinki.
Well, Mr. Interviewer, my answer as Ikimoto is, everyone has 2 faces. I already hate it, but well, I'll keep going. The one they show to the public and the one you keep for yourself. In a way, I love that, but just for other Naruto things. But okay, anyways. Something very useful to the real society. Since Shinjus had just been born not too long ago, they don't have this notion. They are thus primitive and true to their instincts. Okay.
Which isn't true, but ignore that.
Even if they give a different vibe from their original selves, this may be a hint to the original's true personality.
So I think, for example, now some things like Hidari are going to both be like, okay, this makes sense and that makes no sense. So I'll start with Ryu and Shinki for a moment. So Shinki, as we know, is extremely strict. He's not all goofy and slang termy the way Ryu is. And he has that very protect father obsession. But that could be what this is essentially saying is nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
Shinki's nature, according to Ikimoto, is a lot more like Ryu. But his experiences
Gaara adopting him, basically, that led Shinji to become that devoted, strict guy he is. But if he had just been born with Gaara, just from the get-go, for example, probably would have been closer to Ryu in personality, because he wouldn't have had a reason to overly, obsess over Gaara. Similarly, with Sasuke and Hidari, I mentioned this before in videos, but Sasuke is very introspective. He does ask things like, who am I? What am I? Given his answer, I'm an adventurer. But he does ask a lot of those introspective types of questions throughout the story at various points. I've literally used them in videos for a reason. Hidari does the same thing. Whereas it got a little bit weird is that, whereas Hidari, yes, he's introspective, but he also, he comes across as stupid. And yeah, exactly. So the problem is that stupidityness is more like ignorance, just lack of knowledge. He just doesn't know. Like, he just has no, like, for some reason, Hidari was born with literally nothing but Sarada in the English language. He doesn't know literally any context of society whatsoever because of that. That's why he comes across as stupid. But the thing is, if you're gonna go this route, I think that Hidari should probably match Sasuke a little bit better, because he should come across as more intelligent realistically, because then you have like that slight difference of just knowledge, but it's a little bit too extreme to where he just feels stupid.
I mean,
like, it's not that he is, but he just feels stupid. Like, that's the thing there.
What I'm about to say is nothing but false, but you could make the argument that Sasuke was born stupid, but because of Fugaku and Itachi and the Uchiha clan's strict demand for respect and admiration and success and all that, Sasuke from the very bare bones was adamantly beaten into him to be a success. But then that obviously is contradicted by the fact that he just is talented in general.
Yeah, but continue real quick. Hi, Saran. Before we get to your part, a couple more things.
What? God is good.
Momoshiki, I think his feelings towards Eida and Code,
I love that.
Probably a reflection of how Bug actually feels towards them because of everything he dealt with.
Yeah.
Moegi, that pretty much confirms Moegi actually likes Konohamaru. Like, I based off this, it's not a Moegi specific thing. Matsuri specific, Moegi just does.
Yeah,
like
it's also what I especially
confirmed.
love is it's erasing the people's filters. It's basically like the thing of when a corner is like whenever a character is backed up into a corner and like all the layers are peeled away, they're forced to expose their true self.
Just is the Shinju.
That just is the Shinju. Yeah. So what I love about that, it removes the filter. Moegi just is an explosive personality. It's taking away the 35 or whatever years of experience she's had to develop of how she's supposed to act in society, just stripping away the facade so that she's gonna be taboo or whatever. She just doesn't care. She lets loose. That's her true
And then
self.
another example would be if hypothetically Naruto was a Shinju.
See, that's what that was my first thought.
Could be part 1 Naruto, because obviously as he gets to be Hokage, he starts to mature a lot. But like,
oh my gosh,
Naruto Shinju would basically be part 1 Naruto. Like, that would be his personality.
Well, okay, no, but okay. But you already know that's where we're going to disagree. Because the very first thing I thought when you first started reading this question was a Naruto and an Obito Shinju would have been extremely interesting to see. For obvious reasons.
They would be. They would be interesting to see, I guess.
Oh, I'm glad we agree. We'll leave it there.
But anyway, now that you covered the Shinju, Sauron.
So
hello. It's unfortunate that y'all got to the end, but
this is the end. Well, how many questions are there in total?
Just
are there no more?
That's question 8.
Well,
is there no more? That's it.
Oh, I'll go back and watch the rest of the stream. It's fine.
Okay. Well,
we technically kind of skipped over one halfway.
Did y'all like the questions? And I mean,
yes.
I'm gonna go back and watch it later. But like, did y'all like the questions?
In particular, Kamui or Sauron.
What's your favorite one?
Our favorite one is going to be question number 6.
No, like your actual favorite one.
Now, let me go see the list again.
At your actual favorite one. I've discussed this on Twitter a bunch of times. I want to know your real favorite one.
Okay. It'd be a lot easier to choose my least favorite.
I think my favorite's going to be the last one about the Shinju's personalities.
In fact, I think that's
my favorite.
Might be the one that I actually like.
My favorite is number 8. I think 7 and the Daemon one is interesting but weird.
Yes.
but I like it.
Oh, you'll hear about those.
It's weird,
Um,
but I like it. I like the question.
Yeah,
yeah.
these questions are
And
good.
Well, I
the
liked all the questions. I didn't like all the answers.
I
So
like
let's
the
discuss our
answer. I
least
just think
favorite.
that it's weird.
Okay, what's your least favorite answer of all these? Which one were you like, are you kidding me? That's the answer too.
I don't like the dumb parallel to Naruto. I think it's silly, but I also the number one was fine. I guess it was just so
Oh,
kind of-
really? Okay, let's just go to mistakes real quick, so we can show you why it's not fine.
So
Boruto just called Sasuke master in part 1.
yeah, so
He does.
So sorry if you will
But
remember.
I think what Ikimoto's trying, if we're gonna be good faith here, I think he means really his master, as in like he felt that it was his master before, but ultimately speaking, they never actually truly talked that much, and he really didn't actually.
Okay, so
have much
Ron, do
teaching
you
session.
remember
No,
when
Kamui.
Boruto and Sasuke talked before the Ishiki fight? Okay.
No, in terms of like actually learning stuff, Boruto didn't actually learn much from Sasuke in terms of like action. Now he could really call him master.
Well,
Yeah, we might as well just
are
call
you
it the
gonna go
Rasengan
with the
very-
manga or the anime or the novel interpretation?
Do you want to be Do you want to be good faith or be as bad faith as possible?
Hey Sauron, you remember when the Vanishing Rasengan blew up Momoshiki's cheek?
Y'all,
Who taught that to him?
not Sasuke.
Yes, it was. Get out of here. I don't care.
No, it
Okay,
wasn't.
then who taught
Sasuke
Naruto the Rasengan? Because it wasn't Jiraiya.
No, that's silly. Come on. The person who's taught Boruto the Rasengan was Konohamaru. He's the one who taught it to him. Sasuke just said, Boruto, go learn the Rasengan. That doesn't mean he taught it to him. Be serious.
You know,
he taught him the Shuriken Jutsu.
Okay.
Use that. Use that.
there you go.
Come
He
on.
learned something. Taught him the Lorentz gun in the novels.
Yeah, from
He
his
taught him the
master.
thunderclap arrow and other random jutsu he pulled out of his ass in part 1.
Significant training. I'm trying to be charitable here. I don't think
I'm not.
Ikimoto's like.
Okay, let me ask you this, Sauron, then. Do you
I don't
think
think
Boruto thought of
Ikimoto's silly. I
anyone
think
as
he
his
knows
master?
that. I think he knows that Boruto called Sasuke master. This is literally
I don't
something
think he
he
knows.
wrote.
No.
He does
exactly.
know
That's
that.
why
He
we don't
literally
think he
wrote
knows.
it.
We think he.
The question
Yeah, you know what
isn't
else he's
about
written
that.
and drawn? Plenty of things that he's forgotten.
Sauron,
So.
look at the question.
Tell us why Boruto changed the way he called Sasuke.
Yeah.
This
He
question's
didn't
also
change
wrong.
the way he called Sasuke.
This
is our point.
this question's also wrong, by the way.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, and the answer should have
question
been
is
he
wrong.
never changed the way he called him.
The
Exactly.
question
He only
because
changed the way
this
he
didn't
viewed him.
happen. This didn't happen. Wait, is there a different in kanji?
I don't
Is
have
there a
the
difference in
rosters.
kanji? Is there a way to? I don't have the raws for those
Probably.
chapters.
Oh wait.
Maybe I
could.
could
I mean-
find it. Maybe I
he
could find it.
specifically says he started to call him Shisho or Master the next day
Yeah.
after Sasuke helped him escape Konoha.
There seems to
But
because
he
obviously
didn't
the question
start.
was
Ikimoto's
asked.
wrong. He didn't start to call him that the next day.
Exactly.
He already was calling him that.
Obviously, this question is asked. This is not. They didn't ask him in English, so there's a reason why this person believed that. But why? But maybe they're just wrong. That happens as well.
So I mean, so the real answer is Boruto says Old Man Sasuke plenty of times in part 1, as we all know, and in part 2, he specifically does the whole Old Man Master thing all the time. Clearly, there's an intent to stop saying Old Man. Basically, the truth is Boruto is specifically trying to solely call him Master in Two Blue Vortex, whereas in part 1, he called him whatever. Sometimes Master, sometimes Sasuke, sometimes Old Man Sasuke, and so on. Like, that's the real thing. So the idea makes sense, but we're going to be as disingenuous as possible because
No,
Why is this
no,
Boruto thought that he was
Kamui.
really
This is not
his
us being
master and that he
disingenuous.
was his pupil.
No.
Boruto absolutely thought he was Sasuke's student throughout all of part 1. There's like it was the point of the Momoshiki arc. It's like very obvious that he looks at Sasuke as his master. That's why he's coming to Sasuke and having that one-on-one talk before the Ishiki fight. That's why he's having a one-on-one talk with Sasuke after the Borushiki part of the code arc and so on. Like, he's having these talks with Sasuke because they are master and student.
Sarada's literally complaining that Sasuke is spending more time with Boruto than he is with her because that's master and student over there. They literally have an entire novels centered around master and student. The freaking anime, the anime's canon, right? Well, you know what? They have a pretty long heart-to-heart in the time travel arc where they have spent a lot of master student time.
In that novel, Sasuke taught more than just Boruto, so I don't know.
Bro, Sasuke
that doesn't make him less
being
master. It just means Sasuke is more master.
Is at the
master.
End of the first arc, at the end of the movie.
So
Sasuke's Boruto's master.
So to be clear, obviously I don't disagree that he did call him master.
Oh yeah, he just didn't mean it.
I'm trying to be good faith, and what Ikimoto means is just simply Boruto truly.
It's not good
truly
faith.
Believe this.
It's unreasonable. The benefit of the doubt. You're trying to extend this
Yes, because otherwise it doesn't really make sense, and I don't think he can be that silly.
Though, because
exactly. But the easier way to just rephrase the answer and you can get the same meaning. So, for example, this is what I've been saying. He has grown a greater respect for Sasuke, and because of that, he specifically only wants to call him master and remove the familiarity because of formality and respect. There you go. Same meaning. Now you're not being inconsistent. His respect has grown, so he's being more formal.
I do think that
that's what he means. That has to be what Ikimoto means. But
because Ikimoto's saying he started to call him master the next day. Started. That's false. It's wrong. He's wrong. Also, he's a liar.
Was reluctant at first.
No, he wasn't. He's been calling him that. I guess. Well, to be fair, actually, in Sasuke's case, never mind omnipotence, but
Sasuke was reluctant to be Boruto's master at first.
No, they're referring to omnipotence there at first, like chapter 80.
It feels different or wrong to me in a way, though, because of what we've seen in the series.
Gradually accepted it. I mean, technically that seems not wrong, but did that actually?
Well, no, it is wrong because if anything, he accepted it immediately and gradually unaccepted it,
exactly,
and then re-accepted it. It's all over the place, but that's the point.
We've tried to give omnipotence the benefit of the doubt by saying it is intentionally all over the place, going up and down in waves and cycles or whatever else.
Exactly. You've seen my Eida 35-minute video. There you go. If it's not that, it makes no sense.
But Sarin, you're trying to be overly generous. In comparison, we're not being haters or what Kamui said as being disingenuous. We're being reasonable. We're being normal people looking at this and calling it what it is.
I'd assume that you know what he actually means.
He's saying lies.
I told you what he means. So, okay, that's true. He does lie, but ignoring that,
I think you know the sentiment that he's trying to get across.
Yes,
but yes, I don't agree. I don't disagree that this answer was weird, but the question was weird in itself.
Well, so again, just
he answered it weirdly though.
I agree with you, Saran. About what he means. It's what I've been saying for the first 5 chapters. But what he literally said, both the question and answer, they are just both wrong. His meaning, I get it. But what he said is wrong.
Yeah.
But Saran, you saying that he didn't forget isn't helping him out. If anything, it arguably makes it worse because that means he intentionally lied. So which one is it? Did he forget, or is he intentionally lying? You're saying because you're trying to think which sounds less bad.
Give me a second.
Well, if I say this, 13 people will hate me on Twitter. If I say this, it'll be 17. Let's go with 13.
I'm trying to think of a scenario that's similar to something I've done in real life.
Well, have you ever intentionally lied for no reason in an interview in real life about a series?
It could be that he was tired that day.
So now we're bringing that.
He was tired that day.
Okay, so then he did forget because he's tired.
Yes, but because he's tired.
Okay, so that also explains why his other 7 answers were trash.
That's good.
Okay, but then, Saran, that opens up a can of worms. We know the lifestyle of a mangaka. It's very tiring and full of lack of sleep. Every time we say Ikimoto forgot in a chapter, is he forgetting because he's tired?
Yeah, so is the Boruto manga bad because he's tired? So you agree it's bad, but it's because he's tired that it's bad.
Next
Gotcha.
question.
Stuck in a corner.
Next question.
Well, what did you think about the Momoshiki Shinjutsu thing?
That's much.
How on a scale of we'll say 8 to 10, how annoyed were you about this answer?
Bro,
Your
There's a
minimum
reason
is 8, because if
there's
you
a
say
reason-
anything else, you're lying.
there's a reason why I said number 5 was one of my favorites. It's really weird and confusing. I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
What is?
Yeah.
How is it not a Shinjutsu?
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. It's the biggest retcon answer of them all. This is arguably this is probably my most annoying answer.
Literally,
Because
with how Shinjutsu is described, it's a Shinjutsu.
it's way more
Yeah.
defined and godly than shrinking yourself. That's for fucking sure.
It's a Shinjutsu.
Yes.
If that's
Yeah.
not a Shinjutsu,
YouTube
then
site.
what is a Shinjutsu?
Exactly. It's a claw mark.
It's not
It's a
used in hand
Shinjutsu.
signs.
Yeah.
It's like
Making a
It's from
lightning.
an
It's a
Ootsuki.
What
Shinjutsu.
is
So,
it?
so
it's
it's,
as
it-
godly as it gets besides 10 directions and omnipotence.
I guess Boruto's
It's also
thunderclap
just
has been a
wrong with the
Shinjutsu
answer
all along.
because
Does
Momoshiki
he-
can see the whole. He sees it quite clearly. He knows when
Does
Boruto
he-
needs to jump on a tree branch, and every other thing Boruto didn't see. He
Does he
didn't see the
consider
fragments.
Does he consider Dojutsu not Shinjutsu, but the ability? I don't understand.
No,
That doesn't make,
well, this
that
is the
can't be
ability.
true. That doesn't make sense. This question, I laughed at it. I wasn't annoyed. I just laughed.
Man, you remember who
Well,
else?
I think the question's great. It's the answer that's the problem.
The question's just weird. I don't understand it.
Do you remember
I mean,
who
the
else?
How is
answer
the
is-
question weird?
I mean the answer.
other than
is
he,
weird.
during
I
his
meant
talk
the
with
answer.
Amado, in the fact that Boruto wasn't talking to Amado at all. He's just
I meant
listening.
the
but-
answer. I meant the answer.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the question is also weird.
How was the question? Okay, yeah, okay, that put one part, but ignoring that. Okay, ignoring
It's
the
never
talk with
happened.
You
Amado.
guys are going back and forth here. Oh my goodness.
Sorry, but the question was weird. The answer was weird. I don't understand it. It made me laugh. I moved on.
Talk with Amado. Yeah, you move on.
I'm sure
whereas,
y'all-
yeah,
sure
when
y'all
it's
harp on that
bad,
one
you
for a
just
while.
ignore it. Whereas we treat it as it should be treated. but
People said that this was one of their favorite answers.
why? Because Shibai can wave his hand and cause lightning, and that's a Shinjutsu. But then when Sasuke does it to make hearing against Itachi, it's a ninjutsu.
No,
No, I can't wait to get the explanation of how shrinking yourself is more divinely a miracle than the creation of all things just poofing eyes into existence and stopping the eighth gate of death. I can't wait for that explanation.
well, Hakuraba isn't a Tsuki, so shouldn't that be a Shinjutsu anyways?
Well, Momoshiki and Otsutsuki, shouldn't this be a Shinjutsu anyways?
Yes.
Oh, well, guess what? It's not.
Apparently, it's not though.
I think the answer that
Yeah.
disappointed me the most is going to be Daemon's, though. Just as a Daemon fanboy. Not even saying this is necessarily objectively the worst thing of all time, but it did sort
I
of
don't-
ruin Himawari.
I didn't think that it was okay.
But there's nothing else confirmed.
I
That's
was
annoying.
I was disappointed by it because I thought it could have actually the Daemon thing might have actually still been something else,
hmm
but it is exactly in
Yeah,
the
what we
direction
already were
that I
told.
didn't
Yeah.
really want it to go and what we've already been told.
Yeah.
So I was like,
And-
yeah, that's a little disappointing. And also, I just think it's weird. Like Daemon actually felt future synergy potential.
Yeah, remember
Like,
when that
he-
hyped him up, but absolutely nothing else in the entire world of the history of ever has?
Yeah. So
He's not hyped up about the future potential of Jura or Boruto. No, just Himawari. So
it's
how strong
really,
is she going to be?
Yeah, let's keep in mind. This isn't just
That's why-
present potential. So in Two Blue Vortex, or just any time, Boruto gets infinitely stronger between into part 1 and the time skip, thanks to 10 directions, and way more than frickin' Himawari ever did. But Daemon's not looking at his future potential.
So clearly, it's always been that he sensed potential of something, based on how that scene is. He sensed something within her.
Well,
I-
no,
I-
the
I-
way it's phrased is he sensed it in that moment, not the future of it. But
The answer is telling us it's the future.
Exactly.
So what, would Daemon have just blown a gasket the moment he saw Hagoromo, who's perfectly Uzumaki and Hyuga? Sorry, Kamui, I'm totally stealing your argument here.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't understand this.
Well, welcome to the club.
We agree.
But I was just disappointed by it. I really did think it was something else.
So sorry.
It's actually.
I agree. I
don't
was more
think it's that.
disappointed than annoyed.
I don't think it's actually that bad. I just think that I just think that it's weird, like future possible synergy. Like you felt it, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, that could be really crazy in the future," but not like right in this very moment. It felt like he's done something in that.
I mean, honestly, this is my honest. So, this makes me not drop this series, but drop Himawari. I just don't care about anything now. I hate the arc they threw out of nowhere into Blue Vortex. It's nothing. I'll probably like it in the anime, whatever they do. But in the manga, I hate her character arc. I'm just completely uninterested in her abilities now because it's only confirmed. It's only what's been told, and I didn't like that. I have no reason to care about Himawari at all. Like, I have dropped her from the series.
Yeah, potential so crazy it almost made Jura want to try.
And what do you know? I think he's probably trying harder against Boruto anyway, so who cares?
Oh. I haven't read the chapter.
Neither have I, so don't
worry.
worry.
You haven't started reacting it yet, so you can react with us.
Well, first.
But yeah, I was disappointed.
So, sorry, I'm going to go to the bathroom, but while I do, if you want to catch Kamui up on the Himawari tweets that you were seeing yesterday and talking about in VC, you want to catch Kamui up about those. Well, actually, I was trying to find him by going to the tweet that you sent me from Majin Lu, but this just isn't the person. It's the person who, like, we love and who, we agree with. So I don't know who you were trying to link me to, but I don't know how Twitter works. But either way, go ahead and catch us up.
I sent you a tweet. Oh, I'll have to ask you what you mean by that later.
Okay, well, it's the people on Twitter that were saying that basically everyone from part 1 just doesn't exist of Naruto.
Oh.
Yeah, so and that it was very silly of them to say that. So yeah, feel free to catch Kamui up on all that.
Okay. I shall share my screen in a moment. Let me go find those tweets.
Wait. Oodie, unshare your screen. Okay, perfect.
I'm glad I didn't take my headphones off 0.5 seconds sooner.
Yeah, same.
Man, I've talked about this way too much. Oh my goodness.
No.
Sounds like you know it by heart then.
Yeah.
Oh
You'll make it very succinct this time.
Okay.
Practicing
Gotta pull up somebody I like too.
You could please share your screen. My bladder's bursting over here.
There we go.
Okay, well that's deafened.
I pressed the wrong button.
There we go. All right, go for it.
We got tweet number 1. I need to find the other one. Probably down here too.
So many tweets.
Yeah, I've been tweeting. I got lots of thoughts and whatnot. Oh, it's definitely up here. Here's this one as well. That'll do it too. And then we got K13. He's in here somewhere. Oh man, I tweeted too much. These are exquisite arguments. Like, they're fantastic. I don't think you can get better ones in this. When I saw these, I was like, yep, that's the way to do it. But before we get into those tweets, what is your... You've read the question. What is your take on it?
I'm fine with Himawari's perspective.
Yes.
But this should be in the story in a way to where, well, one, this is just something I think would be good to do in the story for Himawari, just to give us more of her character. Because, like, this is giving us more of her character than the Pancakes ever did. This should just be in the story. If the Pancakes are there, this should be there. That's first. Second, okay, but, like, this kind of just confirms that the Hyuga exist in the manga, because she has to actively ask to live alone. So now I'm asking, did this just, like, piss off Hanabi and Hiyashi so much that they ignored Shikamaru's order to support Himawari and Team 10 when he asked for all hands on deck? Were they just so infuriated with Himawari that they said, screw you, girl, you die? Is that what I'm supposed to take out of this? Because what I saw in the manga was certainly not the Hyuga clan lifting a finger for her. But we know they exist because according to this interview, she had to ask to live alone.
Yeah. So, yeah. I was very irritated by it when I first saw it. I was like, I kind of jumped to a few assumptions, but like ultimately I came to the conclusion like, obviously she had to have asked, she probably had to get permission, and I don't think Hanabi wanted to step on her toes, so she's just like, fine, you can live alone. As long as within this verse, Hanabi regularly visits Himawari, so does her grandpa, they support her, and that's all that matters. Because at first I jumped to the assumption that Ikimoto was trying to get at Himawari was as secluded as Naruto was at her age, at the same age, and I thought that was immensely stupid. It doesn't make sense. It's too contrived. But nothing actually says that. Nothing says that she was completely isolated and alone throughout the entire experience. Nothing actually says that. So I jumped to a conclusion. I just didn't like that this is a thing. I don't like the Himawari living alone. I don't know why she would choose to live alone and not just have her aunt move in with her. Sure,
Exactly. They just have to move out. Just have Hanabi move in. It's fine.
This is why I want to see it within the story. What made Himawari want to just live alone? Like, what was it? Why can't you just live at your aunt? She can move into the house with you to give you company. You can still actively wait for your parents to come back home if that's what you believe that's going to happen, and you can have a support system. So that's why I wish that this was partly within the story. I think that it can make for, I hate saying this, but original content based off of a question. I think it can make for good original content.
Oodie mentioned another translation he saw. I never saw it, but it mentioned that basically keeping the house clean and tidy for when her parents come home. That's my favorite. If that translation's accurate, I like that one the best. That gives her good reason to be like, I'm living here. I got to keep this home. Because even Naruto in part 1 to Shippuden, he asked Konohamaru to do that for him, like keep my house clean or whatever it was he said, or part of my house, or keep my photo clean or something like that. I remember the scene in the anime. So I understand Himawari wanted to do that, but again, like Hanabi can move in.
You can still do
but
that.
Even that, like I'm fine with Himawari saying I want to do it all by myself because that's what my dad used to do. Blah blah blah. I'm fine. I don't care.
Maybe she wanted to grow up a little bit.
Exactly. That's all fine. But Hanabi and Hiyashi should be like not just visiting her, but like trying to save her when Jura comes after her.
We should actively be seeing. We should actively be seeing them in her life. I really hate the whole.
Oh, I have a good example when you're done.
I really hate the whole. They're not relevant, therefore they shouldn't be shown. I think it's really silly. I think it's really dumb. All you would have to do is show one panel of a reaction phase of Hayashi and Hanabi freaking out over him. That's all you would have to show. If that's all Ikimoto wants to show, I'm okay with that. But just acknowledge their existence, and that's all that actually matters to me in the grand scheme of things. But I hate the whole "they're not relevant. They shouldn't be shown" argument.
Well,
it's not about that. Okay,
yeah.
Two things real quick. One is okay. Is Nishi relevant? No. Is the rest of Konohamaru squad relevant? No. Are half the characters shown relevant? No. I don't want to hear it. When has Chocho been actually relevant? She's never been fucking relevant. Hanabi is way more relevant than she'll ever be. So, terrible excuse. 2.
Especially because she's tied to a character that had a
remove the Team 10 Himawari scene when they're training and put this scene in instead if you're pressed for time, or just remove the background panels. I don't care. Have Hanabi or Hiyashi or both at Himawari's house and be like, Himawari, why don't you just move in with us already? You know, it's been 3 years, blah, blah, blah. They say their thing. And Himawari can then have her line of being like, you know, like, I know my parents are still alive. I have this feeling, and I want to keep the house tidy for when they come home. And
way more impactful to say it to them instead of Team 10.
Exactly. And then being like, yeah, exactly. It makes more sense to them. And also, Sarat said earlier, I need to take this opportunity to grow up like my dad or whatever the thing. The point is, have Himawari say these sentiments to Hanabi and Hiyashi as they're saying like, hey, why don't you come home, Himawari? Way more impactful than the Team 10 scene. It actually addresses the things we need to know as audience members. It's just better.
Oh, I can't wait for the Boruto anime to come back and be rushed and seasonal and cover exactly 1-for-1 what the manga does, and for it to be awful, just to rub it in that everyone was wrong.
Because that's the thing. Whereas the anime might fix it, and I hope they do. The anime didn't add anything to the code arc. It didn't add that much in the grand scheme of things to the Kawaki arc. And most of the stuff it adds are like, quote-unquote, filler arcs, the in-between arcs, the car actuation arc, the second tuning exam, so on. That's really where they're adding stuff. They do add things, like I said. Not in the code arc, though. The code arc, they literally don't add anything.
They did add things to the code arc. Just not anything.
They added
Code
fighting the
around
freaking
a
steroid
tree.
user. Oh, God, yeah.
You're right. They simplified his karma design, and everyone lost their mind over that.
Like, no, they didn't really add anything. So
nothing significant, but it's objectively wrong. They didn't add anything.
Okay, I know, but like my point is, they didn't really add much of anything. Like the Kawaki arc adds more. They got Boruto's cult and so on. They barely added anything at all. To the point that the code arc just is a 1-to-1 adaptation. Objectively, it's basically 1-to-1. It's a 1.1-to-1 adaptation. There you go. Like,
there you go. You got that.
If they just what are they going to do? Because if they do the code arc adaptation, great, we're not getting this scene. If they do the Kawaki arc adaptation, maybe we'll get the scene, but we might not, and we might get something else instead.
You have to,
if they do the car actuation arc, then yes, we're getting this.
Well, you have to remember the amount of like original Kara interactions that are pertain within the anime. The anime went out of like over 1/3 of many of the episodes of the Kawaki arc. In the beginning Al section are all completely anime original content, almost 1/3 of episodes. You have stuff with Kashin Koji and Al. In the forest, that's anime original. You have most of the Delta and Code interactions with Manu and Bort, those are all anime original.
One, that's not the Kawaki arc.
No, that's the Al arc. I said Al.
I know.
I've never complained about the Al arc, now have I?
Exactly. We're talking about the Kawaki arc. But 2, Kodachi was supervising the anime back then.
Yeah.
And he was also writing the manga at the time.
If you check the credits for the he stopped supervising.
What a saint! He didn't even ask for a credit.
Okay.
Well, no, they literally had tweets of Kodachi saying at the end of part 1, like, now is when I'm done or whatever in the anime. Like, he said he was going to be working on the anime for a while, didn't he? Like, he literally said he was still working on the anime, even after he was done the manga.
That might have been. I think that tweet does exist.
Well, there you go.
Either way, he's probably not involved for part 2. So,
if he supervised the later parts of the anime, then, okay.
I don't know if he supervised past the Kawaki arc or not, but I thought I had heard it was up until the end of the anime.
I think you actually.
But at that point, probably stopped caring because he got fired anyway.
That would be the worst. That would be the worst supervision he's ever done.
Well, again, he got fired. Why does he care anymore? Don't blame him.
Well, with as bad as it was supposed to be, it was a godsend in comparison, so maybe it was his best work.
No, it would be his worst work. It would be his worst work. But yeah.
I feel like you missed the point of what I was saying. But it goes way beyond these Twitter people. It goes way beyond, oh, well, they're not relevant, so why should they be shown? From what I understood, from what Starin was saying yesterday, they were saying that these characters literally physically don't exist in the universe.
No, that's the conclusion that you come to based off what they're saying. Read this tweet here.
This is exactly why I dislike the alternate narrative nonsense between the Boruto manga and anime. Now people are hating on Ikimoto's decisions just because the anime showed them a different perspective. Why didn't Hanabi help Hima? Because she was never part of the manga. Okay, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
exactly.
No, but here's 2 things. So we've discussed this with Sakura versus other people like Shino, Kiba in the past before, but I'm going to use a similar concept with the interview. So, never being part of the manga is still a bad answer. It's just not the worst answer. It's the second worst. So, he's right. She's never been part of the manga. So, in a sense, they were quote unquote written out because they weren't written out, they were never written.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Sakura was written. So she just wasn't helping Sarada. Choji was never written. Sakura's worse because they actively draw her the next chapter healing Unogene.
Yeah.
She's still even into Blue Vortex. She does exist. So
No
what the
meaningful
fuck?
scene.
Huh?
Nothing meaningful. No meaningful
Exactly.
scenes from
Exactly. It
Sakura.
was, but my point is, she
Even though
does
she's in the
exist
manga.
because exactly. Now, similarly, Hanami might not be in the manga, but she's in the interview essentially because Himawari had to ask to level up. Who the fuck is she asking? She's not asking Shikamaru. Shikamaru didn't give a shit. She's asking Hanabi and Hiyashi. That's the most obvious. That's the most likely.
That's the most
answer.
likely conclusion.
Exactly. So they do exist based off the interviews. There's probably other interviews where they talk about Hanabi and Hiyashi. I wouldn't be surprised. But regardless, it's the interviews confirm their existence. So whereas she's not in the manga, she's objectively in the universe, according to the author of the manga, which basically means she's in the manga.
Yeah, I mean,
Never drawn, but she's in there.
This person's tweet is just saying that Hanabi literally physically doesn't exist, and that the anime and manga are physically two separate timelines, to the point to where the Naruto Shippuden canon universe, the Naruto universe just doesn't exist. It's literally physically a different universe from Two Blue Vortex, the manga.
Yeah, and I commented on that one to the guy. I've showed you this before, where I was like, this is why I hate the whole, the anime and manga are the same story when they're just objectively not.
Yeah.
He like confuses me because he likes the anime, and then other days he doesn't. It all depends on what happens in the manga. And I like this guy, but like his opinion on the anime constantly confuses me.
So silly.
The anime sets up different expectations while the manga tells its own story, but people build headcanons based on the anime and get upset when they don't come true in the manga. They want Hima to
But
get
it's
an
not
entire
that's the problem. He's already wrong.
This is the bad faith nonsense that we get into. We'll continue. We'll just finish this last tweet.
Okay.
They want Hima to get an entire volume of the manga showing what she did for the past 3 years, even if she barely existed within the Part 1 manga. I imagine she'd become an important character. I never imagined that she'd become an important character until True Blue Vortex. That's a
Okay, so now real quick,
I
two
always
things
thought that
I've
she'd be important, but
Okay, well, two things. One, okay, this it's because she's important in Two Blue Vortex that they want this now. So he's just stupid for that. Like that. Yeah,
It's
because
silly.
she's important. That's why we need these sorts of things.
Exactly.
like, if you were gonna do
ever.
all the stuff that you were gonna do with her in chapters 8, 9, and 10, why didn't we get all like the stuff that's gonna really affect us, so we can care about this stuff more? Considering the fact that she got nothing in Part 1,
Yeah, not just
all it
in
does
part
is
one,
make
but
this
like in
stuff
Two Blue
stronger.
Vortex.
All it
Exactly.
does is make this stuff have more impact.
And the other thing
you
is,
should have made chapter 1 so fast after the ending of part 1.
maybe
and we
chapter
don't just-
one, it
just-
shouldn't have been recap, and it should have been new information.
I
It's only
personally-
been 3 months, guys. It hasn't been Naruto to Boruto length of time. It's been 3 fucking months. It's been 1 chapter. Do you think I forgot how omnipotence works in 1 chapter? The answer is obviously fucking no.
I agree they should have done the recap, but my take is simply they should have just pushed back the ending of the second half of the chapter.
So, Ron,
to, like,
everyone
chapter
agrees
3.
if they watch the podcast. But if they're on Twitter, they've never watched the podcast and they disagree with us. Because omnipotence, it's the best thing ever. Best plot twist of all time. You know this.
Like, I don't think Boruto should. We've said this a bunch of times, but Boruto shouldn't have appeared in chapter 1.
Yeah.
Boruto just shouldn't have appeared. That's great. No, I'll rephrase this. Boruto Two Blue Vortex shouldn't have appeared.
There you go.
Boruto Naruto next duration skin.
Yeah. I would say
But
the
also-
craziest thing about this, real quick, is the fact that the manga people are the official manga people are the ones who said that the manga and anime are saying the same story at the end of the day. It was the
Exactly.
manga people that said that. And these people are hyping up the manga.
It was Ikimoto himself.
Okay!
Literally. It was his
There
interview.
you go! Ikimoto! The author of the manga.
The point was that the anime was going to add things to substantiate the manga further. It's not supposed to be that the anime is not supposed to be doing its own thing that contradicts the manga. It's supposed to be elaborating on the manga. And it's also not headcanon. It's literally the setup in the anime. It's not our headcanon theories. It's literally the direct setup. Mitsuki's supposed to be fucking strong, okay? That's
Like,
the setup.
Like, are they the same? Are they literally the same continuity? No, but like
No.
they're definitely telling parallel stories here.
No, they're not. They're not parallel stories anymore.
They're supposed to be. That's what
Well,
Ikimoto
they're
said they'd
supposed to
be.
If they're okay, the anime is a straight line. The manga is a jagged line. Yeah, it might be going generally the same direction, but it's taking a left and right turn every 5 seconds, so it's not a parallel anymore.
Mr. False Gun out here.
Oh yeah, can't wait to see what False Gun this chapter has.
has. But yeah, this take immensely silly. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. But Ood, you basically said what I said, like in my response to this tweet. You basically ended up saying what I said.
Kamui did respond. That's funny.
Oh, which is just basically like, even if you don't watch the anime, you know Hanabi exists from the last. You know does Hanabi appear in the Boruto movie? I don't actually remember. But even if she doesn't, she appeared in Naruto the last, and she appeared in the Naruto manga. All you have to remember is that Hinata has a sister and Hinata has a father. That's all you actually have to remember from Naruto. And a lot of people who read Naruto know Hanabi does exist, and that she does have a father.
Well, you know what? Actually,
So
screw it.
all
Let's
you
go see how
actually
highly
need.
ranked she is in the Naruto Top 99 real quick.
Sorry if you want to pull that up. I think you don't even
I'll
need
look real
Hanabi. I think Hiyashi just is more memorable anyways. Like literally,
Oh
like,
no, he's absolutely more memorable because he
Yeah.
actually had a lot of meaningful
exactly.
scenes.
He's
in
Neji's whole crux.
Yeah.
You know, Hanabi Hyuga in the Naruto Top 99 is ranked 82nd over Gamabunta, over
Are you
Choji,
serious?
over Chio Hanzo,
That's got to be
all
the
these
anime's doing.
people.
That's got to be the anime's doing, and because she's hot.
Because she's
Over
hot.
Gamabunta?
I don't
That's
think so
crazy.
because Kohada's on that list and she is an 82nd.
Are you freaking serious? Who?
Exactly.
Kohada, the naked lady.
That Jiraiya peeps on.
Oh,
Oh, literally,
Oh,
this
'cause
one of them
yeah,
right
'cause
here,
she's hot.
Okaha, 85, is below Hanabi. And she is naked in her photo.
it's because she's hot. It's 'cause
And she's below
hot.
It's this kid
Hanabi.
Hanabi that they're using for the photo.
Oh,
Like the photo is, 6-year-old Hanabi or whatever.
Oh, God, in
She's higher than
4K,
Shizune.
son.
Like I said, higher than Choji,
but they're basing it off of
Granchio,
what they've seen in the
Hanzo.
Boruto anime for sure.
Awful.
That has to be.
That's awful. To
That
be fair, this
has
was
to
a
be what they're
Naru
basing it
top
off of.
99, not a Boru top 99.
I like this tweet, but we'll go to that. We'll go back to that in a moment. You had more people saying similar silly sentiments. For those wondering why Hanabi and Hyuga, this one's sillier. For those wondering why Hanabi or the Hyuga clan didn't take care of Himawari, even though they were close to her, the answer is simple. It's anime canon. Hanabi has never interacted with them in the manga.
Uh-huh.
This is a great take. We all agree here.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Yes. So, what is the only conclusion that you can come to based off this tweet?
Hanabi
Is what
just
he's saying here.
hates
Wait, real quick,
Himawari.
Jonathan Oliver says, this you put after the omnipotent scene, Kamui. He doesn't make sense what you said. What are you talking about, Jonathan Oliver?
Where did he say that?
At 12:23 is in chat, which is only 10 minutes ago. We were talking about Himawari, so can you elaborate, Jonathan, what you're talking about?
He put Porto with BB in his name.
Like, so the
Yeah, I
conclusion
know.
has to be that they have no relationship in the manga, or something, or
Which doesn't make sense.
They, yeah, silly. Luckily, people have brains, and what a G here. So, lovely person right there. And then Borusumi Where is she? Oh, I see. I guess I didn't want to address her. I guess I
By
have to
the
edit
way,
out.
I saw
real
you were
quick,
looking for an hour to explain to it earlier.
I'll
if you know what
really
that was
quick
about.
say for stream that it is currently winding and raining outside where I'm at extremely
I can't
hard.
hear.
And so if Wi-Fi goes out and stream ends, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
So just letting you know, stream.
All right, Ood,
Okay.
want to read
Oh
this
my
one?
god, did you guys hear that thunder?
No.
That was so
Discord
loud.
noise suppression is really good.
It has to be.
Exactly.
It shook
we
my bed.
praise it all the time.
Okay, so the tweet.
It's the best
People-
noise suppression ever.
Yes. People blaming Ikimoto for making a sad fact about a character, OMG, sub emoji. Bro, 1, it's a shonen manga. Of course every character will have sad moments. And 2, please, no one from the Hyuga clan was introduced in the manga. How the heck you want them to be with Himawari?
Okay, 2 things. This isn't a sad
Ooh.
fact about this is but I didn't feel sad for Himawari. She chose to do this. Why would I be sad about it? I'm like, oh wow, she's growing up. If anything, I'm inspired by this
The
fact.
question literally suggests that she didn't have to do this.
Literally, she chose
She
to. I'm
chose to do
inspired,
it.
not sad.
Real quick,
But
I'm
Sauron-
like,
crying
wow,
because
you
you did
really
this.
wanted to grow up.
Sauron, before I forget, can you also pull up the people that were mad at Ikimoto for even talking about this? I remember you said that
Oh.
yesterday.
It's gotta be that. It's that girl.
They're
It's
mad
that
that
girl
Ikimoto
that-
even had the gall to bring it up. It's
Okay.
that irrelevant.
I think
Please
it
tell
has
me it was
to be-
Troy. Please tell me it was Troy.
No, it wasn't Troy, but he did a quote retweet. The person, I don't remember what their app was. They used to work with
So
Organic
funny.
Dinosaur back in the day.
Oh, shout out Organic Dinosaur.
Yeah, her leaks were way more fun.
I still love
She
the
was way
emoji
be-
leaks.
Yes, her emoji leaks were
I
phenomenal.
know.
My goodness. I loved her. She had a stick up her butt, but
Always fun coming back to her.
hold
Cool.
on. Where is it? Oh, I think if only I remember the ad.
You got this.
I think I know where it is though.
Ooh, here you go.
Find
Man,
it.
you are very active on Twitter.
I know.
Oh, this is only as of the past like 5 days.
Only.
I'm usually
Wow.
not that I'm usually not this active. Holy crap,
Danger.
too many tweets. My goodness. This is silly. Holy
is silly.
moly. I am like flabbergasted.
By the way, Kamui, can you also send me a link to the chapter where we can get to
Ooh,
that?
I need to send this to you later. Let me.
Wow.
I'm going to send this to you. This is really pretty. It's very short though.
Okay.
I want to send that to
Immediately
you. So
look
I
through.
send that to you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It was that one
But yeah, I'm
girl.
not seeing any.
No, don't tell me I
Special
have to use
chapter.
Viz. Don't tell me I have to use Viz.
Viz?
Find me a full screen black background version or I quit.
Well,
Please,
I-
Kamui, please.
We
You will
don't-
go
there's
play
no way
Among
we
Us with your
have-
friend.
There's no way we have to actually use Viz.
Don't tell me I have to use Viz.
Here, let's see if this works. Okay, this should be fine.
Let's
I had
go.
to search it a different way.
Okay. Whatever it takes.
Okay, that should
Oh,
work.
is this it?
Is this it?
Not hitting Himawari here, but my
Oh.
issue is how the author is making the adults look bad because ridiculous plot decisions.
No. This can't be it either. Where is it?
Well, at the very
Damn it.
least, it happened.
He quote retweeted it. I just don't remember.
Can you control F to find it?
Control F? What is control F?
It lets you know some of the words.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, you can type whatever you remember and it'll automatically like bring you there.
Just do
Okay.
Control F, not up there.
Hold on.
It's a very cool and handy.
Or
and
Command F
feature.
if you have a Mac. I don't know what you use, but
Well, he already did
Maybe
do
you can
control F. He
find it.
just shut down the window once it popped up.